Greetings, hello, hi, my name's Drew, you're you, and we have a ton to talk about, if that isn't already obvious. So, one of two things is going to happen. Either I'm going to speak annoyingly fast, or this video is going to be annoyingly long. Either way, please be patient. No, I'm just kidding, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be perfect and wonderful. We just need to get started now. Okay, first off, we're going to talk about some ink from Jacques Herbin, and they don't come out with ink very often. It has been 10 plus years, so the fact that they have 5 new colors, all very Parisian themed, is pretty exciting for me anyway. So as you see here, and the images I will show you now, they've got the following colors available. We've got Vert Métropolitain, which is a green, Moulin Rouge, which is a red, Brune Eiffel, which is brown, Bleu Vert, which is another blue, and Gris Trois, which is a gray. So all of these look very pretty, and Jacques Herbin is one of those brands that is very safe, very friendly, flows really nicely in almost any pen, very easy to clean as well. So I'm a fan of this brand. I have been sleeping on it for a while, but just recently I kind of remembered that it's here and it's good, and these colors are definitely helping. Hopefully it helps you too. So they are available now. They're $13.95 and 20 mil, I believe, something like that. 30 mil, not bad. The next ink we're going to talk about is 20 milliliters, and that is Ferris Wheel Press. It's also $20. This is another Fairy Tales collection, and this is called Curious Woods, which to me sounds like an old school video game level, but to Ferris Wheel Press, it sounds like an ash brown with some shimmer, some interesting shimmer. It's got green and pink shimmer, so pretty uncommon. Pretty sure another brown ink with green and pink shimmer does not exist, but it does now, thanks to FWP. So available now. Everything is available now. I will stop saying that. Just assume it's available now. Keeping on the ink train, Sailor. We've got 4 new Shikiori inks, and whoop, here they are. So these are smaller bottles, and they're really nice bottles actually. I really like them. So they're diminutive but classy at the same time. So also 20 mils, but you know, $18. So not bad, not bad. We're gonna be talking about Kamoshika, which is a brown, Narishiko, which is a purple, Komakusa, which is green, and Yutsubame, which is a pink-ish. So there we go. They're here for you if you want them. And one more set of inks to talk about this morning, and these come to us from Waringal, and both are literary themed. We've got some Arthur Conan Doyle over here with The Hound of the Baskervilles, and some Jules Verne here with From the Earth to the Moon. We've got red with a solid sheen here, and then we've got a blue-gray with some shimmer here. I believe it's green sheen here on the Hound of the Baskervilles here, and then a let's see, kind of like a blue-green shimmer. I wrote it down here. What we got? Blue glitter, blue ink with blue glitter. So, but it's a lighter, like a blue-gray. Both are very cool, very different. So yeah, you can have your own little literary adventure with some new Waringal inks. They've definitely been on that kind of, you know, classic literary kick, and we're going to continue kicking it with these two. Okay, before we get into the pens, we need to talk about some pen cases. And we've got a fox, we've got a squirrel, we've got a koala, and we've got a raccoon. And these are new pen, pencil, whatever cases from Punilabo. We have had these before. We've still got the corgi, so get on that. But they're fun. You can really do a whole lot with them. They can be a pencil thing, they can be a pen thing, they can be a bunch of erasers, paintbrushes, you name it. And then I do believe this thing right here is actually for an eraser, but I don't know. Let me know. But we've got these, and they're cool. And if we're just missing out on a raccoon, now you have one. Or a fox, or a squirrel, or a koala. The pens, the pen cases themselves, have this little doodad here, where if you wanted to put your really expensive Delta pens in here, you could do that, seal them up, and then just carry them around, let them all bang into each other and stuff. And then when you're ready to write, you bring the raccoon's head down, and then you pop. Oh, look at all these beautiful deltas I can write with now. So that's the gist of it. They're 20 bucks. They're fun. They're silicone, so they're resilient, and they can act as either a travel pouch or a, desk display unit, or just a fun thing to smile at. And I think these days we need all that we can get, don't we? So why not get yourself a pen case that makes you smile? Your favorite animal will be here at some point, right? Anyway, they're here. They're for you. I already have my corgi, so I don't think I need any of these other ones, but the fox is pretty darn cute. And the koala, that's a good koala face there. Punilabo, pen, pencil, whatever cases. Visconti used to have leather pen cases, and then they went away. And now they're back. So you can get from us either a 3 or a 12 pen case. I'm going to be showing you the 3 here today. They are both pretty expensive at, both reaching over the $100 point, but we're talking from Italy and we're talking real leather. You put those two things together and, that shouldn't be too surprising for you. We've got a somewhat nib-shaped zipper pull here with the Visconti V. You can also find the Visconti V, debossed right there up at the top of the front of the case. And you'll see that it has a little, it's kind of bisecting itself a little bit here. That is where the pen case opens up and folds down. Remove the little cardboard here, and you can see that we are looking at 3 different compartments, all separated by some kind of felty, velvety dividers here. And it'll keep your pens nice, safe, and cozy. And it will fit larger pens too if you've got a Mont Blanc 149, or of course the Visconti has larger pens like the Homo sapiens and the Opera Master. Those will go in just fine. The 3 pen case that I have here in my hand is going to be retailing at $103.20. The larger 12 pen case is $151.20. So both are a pretty penny, but actually these are less expensive than the ones we used to have. So yeah, nice. They had like a medallion here. I think that, a few things being removed helped drop the cost a little bit, but it's still the same leather that you know and love as far as I know. And 3 or 12. So you can check those out on the site and learn more there. You can also read all official measurements and stuff. Everything I talk about here as far as pens and pen cases go, we do tech specs. We measure everything down to the little millimeter, so info for you there. We're going to, I think, hop on board with some pens. Do I want to do that? Yeah, I do. We're going to talk about a Monteverde pen, but I'm going to bring in the old phone so we can get a better look. So this is a Monteverde Invincia, but it is not just any Invincia. No, it is a turquoise Invincia, which you haven't seen before because it is new and it is exclusive to the Goulet Pen Company, which is where we are, if you didn't know that. Up top, we've got the Monteverde itself, in this case, more Mont than Verde. That's not really happening. Should be called Turco Verde. Anyway, Invincia there on the black center band. You will find black hardware throughout this pen, including on the grip section and the nib, which is made in Germany by Jowo. Very reliable, very good writer there. And then the cartridge converter situation resting beneath it all. So it's a very well balanced pen. It is a bit heavy. It's a brass barrel, but is pretty well balanced. The posting situation, back weights it a little bit, but it's a pretty deep post, so it's not too bad. But it is a pretty recognizable pen in the Monteverde library. One might call it their flagship pen. I might. I do like it has a very, very hard stop there. With metal grip sections, sometimes there's a concern of slipping. If I have a metal grip section, I like to have a very obvious stopping point here. So if any slipping does occur, which to me it doesn't, I don't have very oily hands, but just in case, I like that solid stop. So it's a pretty nice pen. It is numbered here down at the bottom. It is a limited edition, and it will only be available here in our little shop. And it does have a nice little, when you close it, you reach a bit of resistance right there, and then there's a nice satisfying little pop sort of thing happening that, I don't know, I like it. It's not a big deal, but when you write with a bunch of pens and they all kind of screw together the same, it sticks out at you when one does it slightly different. So this is $72 and it's available now. So, okay, Benu, 3 new Benu pens, 2 of which are somewhat regular. One is hand painted. So we're gonna look at the more regular ones first, but all 3 happen to be the Benu Euphoria pens. I already opened these, so they're not in this little sleeve, but it will be in there. First off, we've got this cocktail, which is Blue Hawaiian, and next up we have its partner in this release schedule anyway, Bloody Mary. So both are named after cocktails, but neither are particularly similar to each other. So we've got a very red pen and a very blue and white pen. The red pen is a little bit more, Bloody Mary I should say, is a little more classic Benu with the more densely packed glitter elements. You've got a translucent red center band there as well, which will usually, if not always, match the grip section. And you'll see the same thing here on Blue Hawaiian, gold center band, gold grip section. So the Blue Hawaiian is a little bit unconventional for Benu, and if anything from Benu can be considered conventional, with these more densely packed gold plops here. And it is a really cool look. Both of these are Euphoria models, so you are looking at this faceted situation, faceted and slightly tapered down here. And both are going to have the same German-made Schmidt nib. And oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Am I just now realizing that the nib size is right there in the middle? Oh my gosh. I feel so dumb right now. How am I just now noticing that? And I feel like it's always been this way, because oh my God. That's funny, kinda. A little embarrassing, but there you go. Medium and a broad, I'm guessing. Let me just double check. Are these really mediums and broads? Yeah, medium and broad, yeah. Wow, okay. Sorry, y'all, that's just, that's surprising to me. Both of these are cartridge converter pens. They will come with both a converter in the barrel and a cartridge in the box. And both post just fine. It makes it super long, but it's a lighter pen, so it's not offending me anyway. And one cool thing that you might not know is that you can bounce the clip up and down like this, because there's enough here behind the connection point to spring it up, put it where it needs to go, drop it back down. Pretty cool pens, the Euphoria. I'm a big fan, and I enjoy these two as well. Additionally, there is a third Euphoria, and oh yeah, sorry, $157 for these. These are $157. More expensive here at $280 is the new Honey Pals Benu Euphoria. And why is it $280, you might ask? Because, wha-bam, it's hand painted, y'all. We've got a familiar pig and a familiar bear here enjoying the daisies and dandelions, and it has been hand painted by the micro painters employed over at Benu in Armenia. So that is just a stunningly detailed work of art there. And somehow these are going to be an ongoing edition and not limited as far as I know. And I believe it's painted on the inside too, which makes it even more impressive. Same body style as the other two, and then you've got this beautiful light emerald resin that, again, comes to us directly from Benu. These materials you won't see anywhere else because they pour these themselves. They make all of their resins. And it's a beautiful pen. It really is. Even if you're not a fan of the characters, it's just a lovely pen. I am a huge fan of this green. It's not a color that I have ever seen before. So again, this one is up at $280 for a hand-painted pen. That's not crazy. All right, we're going to give Benu a break. We're going to move on to something else. And that something else is this. It's a Visconti. It is a Comedia. And these are 3 pens, all named after, layers of Dante's Inferno or the Divine Comedy, but I want to unpack one with you because it's a new box alert. So here we have the outer sleeve, which is familiar. What is not familiar is that we have got a custom outer box that is specific to the Comedia. And each of these pens represents, you know, kind of the above, the middle, and the below, if you know what I mean. And within this kind of blankety envelope, we have here Paradiso, which is obviously the nicer of the three places. And we have a beautiful white blue sky in the resin here, Paradiso engraved there on the center band, which looks textured but really is not. You'll see the same texture here on the grip section. It is quite smooth, does not interfere with the grip at all. And then you'll notice the steel nib. What you might also notice is that it looks a lot like the Visconti Rembrandt. It is very similar, almost identical at first glance. The biggest difference though is the grip section and the nib. This nib is the same nib that you can find on the Mythos. And if you have ever listened to me talk about the Mythos, I'm a big fan of it, and I think moving to this German-made steel nib for the Mythos and for the Opera Gold that they sold for a while was a great move by Visconti. They used to have Italian-made nibs in steel for the Rembrandt, which this is not officially, but moving to this nib that is on the Mythos I think is great. They write wonderfully well, and I'm really happy about it because the Rembrandt is a great pen and now it has an even better nib. So I'm happy to see that. Hopefully you are too, because it's just a lovely nib as well. You've got a magnetic cap here that snaps on really nicely. It snaps on at pretty much any position. The only thing you might run into if you're not careful making sure that this goes in nice and straight is that you do have an inner cap there, which you can see. If you put your pen in a little cattywampus, you might hit the nib there on the side of the plastic. So plastic's not gonna really do any damage to steel, but don't force it. You know, if you are like, oh no, my pen's not going in, then look at this. This is a silly angle, don't do that. Put it in nice, be happy. This is Paradiso afterward. All right, so we've got a little bit of a metal finial there on one end, and then the Visconti V here on the other. Of course, we've got a spring-loaded, beautiful bridge clip. And then let's check out the other layers that Dante illustrates here. We've got Purgatorio, which is a nice, beautiful gray. I was not a huge fan of this at first, but now I kind of get like, I don't know, gas giant vibes. You know, doesn't it look like Saturn or Jupiter in a way? So I am actually a huge fan of this. It just, every time I look at it, I love it more and more, which is crazy because at first I saw it and I was like, ew, that's gray and slimy looking, but nope. It looks absolutely incredible to me now that I have a closer look. So yeah, don't sleep on Purgatory. And then of course, Inferno itself. This one you can see has a lot of darkness here, just very dark, scary fire. And I'll show you some images too that are better lit than my current situation, but each pen will say Comedia and each pen will say the name of the pen. And each pen happens to be $191.20. So they are here for you if you want them. If you have been a fan of the Rembrandt, there's no reason you wouldn't be even more of a fan of these. All right, now we get to talk about SCRIBO. And I'm excited about that because it's a new brand entirely, but it's a fun brand to talk about overall. And SCRIBO is from Italy, and one of the most interesting things, if not the most interesting thing about SCRIBO, is that they were formed by the former employees and managers of OMAS, if you remember that company. And not only that, but they also have the original equipment for manufacturing from the OMAS factory. So what they produce here is what they produced over at OMAS. They have the same manufacturing capabilities that they use to make the OMAS nibs, which folks used to be a big fan of, especially their flex nibs. And yes, they're back, and this is in large part what SCRIBO kind of uses to generate some excitement. So let's take a closer look. This here is the Puma, and this is the more affordable of the three models that we're going to look at today. The presentation is actually excellent. Each pen comes with its own beautiful canvas and leather pen case, and this gorgeous box as well. You can even see their signature feather on the pull. It's just, there's a lot of attention to detail in this pen that really gets me excited. So the Puma has a small feather here up at the top, if you can see that, and then an understated clip, a very, very seamless profile over the whole pen. We've got this one in two colors. What you're seeing here is Amatista, and then we've got one in Agata, and I will show you images of both. It is a round pen except for both ends. You've got a flat end here and then a flat end here, and they do line up nicely. Sometimes if you like lazily close it, it can do that, but you know, a little bit of a turn and you have it lined up nicely. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're one of those people that needs everything perfect. And then we've got the nib here. This is a flex nib. We're carrying to start two flex nibs, one in extra fine and one in fine. This one is the extra fine. They have the ebonite feed, that same feed that you would have seen on the old Omos pens. And it does have a nice bounce to it. It's not as extreme as something like a Magna Carta Mag 600 nib, not gonna like flare out like that, but it does have a beautiful softness to it, and it does give you reliable line variation as well. The flex nibs are gonna be 14 karat gold, and then the medium nibs that we're carrying are 18 karat. So basically they use 14 karat for the flex because the lower gold content is actually better for flexing. Scribo there, and then made in Italy there on the other side. The Puma is definitely a little bit lighter. It is a cartridge converter pen, as I just showed you. The other two are not. So there we have that. It's a lovely pen, and it is going to be selling for $505. Next up, we have the La Dota. And right off the bat, you can see that it's got a pretty crazy material. And then under here, you'll see a diamond. What is this? Yes, people, it is made of diamond cast by our friend Tim McKenzie here in the States. It's got a very, very recognizable look to a lot of his designs. And this one here in Alzagant is the name of the material, is no exception. We also carry a La Dota in a color called Torita. So we've got a different profile completely than the Puma that we just looked at. We've got a larger emblem here up at the top, a completely different clip, still very solid, very beautiful. And then it shows this wasted design that you'll see on the other model as well. So it widens, comes together, and then widens again, a little bit of an hourglass profile. And then a trim ring here, and that is where the piston knob is. Pretty long grip section, and then very understated threads, and not too harsh of a step down from the barrel to the grip section, so it is very comfortable. Again, this is the flex nib, so the flex nibs will say feel the flex on them, and then every other nib will say feel the writing, which is Scribo's kind of motto. And then again, you'll see the I believe this one is gunmetal trim. You can see it's a little bit darker here. And we don't have an ink window, but right now the piston is going down. It is all the way down now, and then it is moving up. And now if I did have this submerged ink, I would have a full pen. So it's a really well balanced pen, very smooth, very warm material. This diamond cast is just a really nice material to use. And you will have Scribo here on the trim ring, and then again, feel the writing. So these pens are made in Bologna, and made by a lot of the same folks that used to make the Omos pens, including Luca Baglione. And he's still there, and he's making sure that all of these nibs write well. He's like not only the leader over there, but he's the lead nib guy as well. He's very talented and has a very particular eye to make sure that things go out nicely. And that is a nice thing to have, an Italian pen maker that does as much as Scribo does to maintain quality control on their nibs is really exciting to see. And this one is the Feel. So it is very similar to the La Dota, but it is faceted, and it catches the light beautifully here, doesn't it? This is a slightly translucent version. This is the Ombre Verde, and we also have a blue-black, which is not particularly translucent. So a little bit more basic colors here, and this one is the more expensive of the two. The La Dota is $590, this one is $645. And again, same steel nib here, same piston mechanism here. So really the only difference between this and the La Dota are the facets, and they do come in different colors as well. So we are carrying each pen in 2 colors to start with, and then we are carrying 3 nib sizes as well. We're doing medium for just, you know, a general nib size, and then we're carrying 2 different types of flex, an extra fine and a fine flex. They do have mediums as well and a bunch of other nib sizes, but we're going to start off with this. You let us know what you think. Hopefully we'll get some good feedback, as we did just start selling them, but we're really excited. And the fact that it's a Italian company that makes all their feeds, their nibs and everything, and does it really well, hopefully we have reason to be excited, and hopefully you are too. So let me know what you think. If you already have one, I'd love to hear that as well. But I will remain excited for the foreseeable future. Moving on though, we're going to talk about Sailor. And while 3 pens released, I'm going to be just showing you one because it's the king of pens, so why not choose that one, right? So they call this Sunlight from the Ocean Floor. Don't ask me what that means, but it's a cool looking pen. So the king of pen is going to come in this black box. The others are not, but this one is going to be best to show you because it's just larger, and you know, I'm just trying to show off the colors because regardless of size, each pen is going to look just like this. It's going to have a top more lighter blue with very fine shimmer particles here, a milky white cap, and then a darker blue barrel with wider, more kind of chunkier looking glitter flakes, and then it goes back down to the lighter blue with the more powdery glitter here. So all 3 are going to look the same. We have a Pro Gear Slim that is going to be selling for $236, a Pro Gear, which is $312, and finally the King of Pen is $816. This is what I have here. They all look relatively the same. The King of Pen obviously is going to say this on the center band, and all 3 are cartridge converter pens as well. One of the main difference is that the King of Pen and the Pro Gear, the mid-size one, are going to have 21 karat nibs, whereas the Pro Gear Slim is going to have a 14 karat nib. All the nibs are beautiful, but not all the nibs are this gigantic. It needs to be though. I mean, this is a well-balanced pen. Big nib, big pen, very comfortable to write with. And I'll say it again later when we get into the next pens, but larger grip sections might be deceptively pleasant for you, even if you've never really used one. I used to think that larger grip sections would be a hindrance, but they are comfortable. And I was surprised. I didn't think that I would enjoy writing with something that spread my fingers out in an uncomfortable way, but really it's easy. Like, it's more work to kind of like pinch down on smaller diameter pens. So there we go. Sunlight from the Ocean Floor. Now, I said we're going to continue to talk about pens with big grips. That's because we're going to talk about Delta and their DV Original Oversize, which is a big pen. And we've got 4 of them now. Well, we have 5 of them now because we did have the original color, which was a little bit of this and a little bit of this, meaning orange in the middle, black everywhere else. Now we've got these and this one. So we've got pretty much all the variations of orange and black you could ever ask for. So Oro is here, and we've got gold trim here. We've got the Delta logo up at the top, and this familiar gold flecked resin throughout from head to toe, all over the gold trim. And then finally we've got a beautiful gold nib, both in color and material, 14K, and a really nice, very thin ebonite feed, very reminiscent of the old Dolce Vita. So continuing that tradition. You might think it's a cartridge, a piston pen because it's so gigantic, but it is not. It is a cartridge converter pen with a ton of threads. There we go. And yeah, and I don't mind that. Look at that. That's a nice little touch. We've got a little brass thread insert there. Yeah, it is a big pen. It is a very nice pen. And that grip section is extremely comfortable. I kid you not, it feels really nice. And if you don't be deceived by like the look of this pen, because that is a number 8 nib, so it is a gigantic pen. The number 8 nib just kind of balances it out really nicely. If this was a number 6 nib on here, it would probably look a little funny. So I don't know if it posts. Oh my gosh, it does. Whoa! That's a lot of pen. But it should be a lot of pen. This one is $636. But again, you've got a lot of gold, being a 14 karat number 8 nib. So this is noticeably bigger than the more common number 6 variety. And the Oro is here, and the Magnifica is here, also $636, is all black with a tiny little red ring there. And yeah, you're gonna see the names of the pen here up at the top. And again, all black, but you have a pop of color here in the ebonite. It is red this time, which is a nice little nod to the red ring there to kind of just bring it all together. Very sharp looking pen, and a very, very practical, very comfortable pen, if you think gigantic pens are practical, in a way that I think they are. And then the masterpiece kind of combines both elements. You've got gold, you've got orange and black, not in the same flecked resin though. You see this one has a more chunky texture to it. The masterpiece has a more swirly look to it as well. So you've got black and orange all happening throughout the pen, and then steel hardware as well. There's a sterling ring too. It's a beautiful, I believe it's like a lost wax casting or something there, but it's quite pretty. And it's the same as the same trim ring that the Dolce Vita has always had. And yeah, there we go. And finally, the pen that, oh, this one is a little bit more expensive at $676. So these two are $636, this is $676. And then finally, up a little higher at $716 is this. And this looks quite different. That is because it is a collaboration between Delta and the Carolina Pen Company and its owner, Jonathan Brooks, the resin wizard that some of us are familiar with. He does a phenomenal job pouring resins that just consistently look beautiful. I think it would be harder for him to make a bad looking resin at this point than it would be to make a beautiful resin, because it just seems to be something he can do with his eyes shut. Rose gold trim on this one with a stunning green ebonite feed, rose gold number 6 nib, and they also have a gunmetal version as well. I've got rose gold here, obviously. And again, this is a cartridge converter pen, as you can see. So other than the material, it is the same as all of the other ones that we've seen, but more limited in nature in this case. I believe it is numbered. Yes, there we go. So only 25, not many. Hopefully it is still around by the time this video publishes, but if not, you saw it here. You got to enjoy it with me, because I'm not going to have one either. It's okay. You and I can be sad together. All right, that is the DV collection here. Again, $636, $676, $716. And we have one more pen, two more kinda, to look at. These come to us from France by way of ST Dupont. Two pens, both line D pens, but both look quite different from each other, all things considered. As far as, you know, a pen of the same model can look different from another pen of the same model. We've got silver trim and black matte trim, obviously, and then we've got one very clearly representing fire and one very clearly representing water. La Flamme is here and La Mer is right here. Again, very different, but very similar as well. One of the more noticeable differences is the blazon here at the top. We've got a deep recessed D here on the La Flamme, and then the kind of standard under lacquer version that you can see on the La Mer. Both are going to have this beautiful spring-loaded clip with the ST Dupont shield there. Even the black, it still has a bit of lacquered effect there. Both are going to say France right there on the side of the clip. This has some fuzz on it from the black. It's kind of like a velvety sort of material in there. ST Dupont will show up on both center bands, and then on the back, Paris. Beautiful pens. And then you'll see matching trim down here at the bottom, just flat there on the bottom. And then the snap caps come off, and then they go on quite nicely as well. I'll let you hear this real quick. It's just a very, very solid snap. And to taking a look at the La Flemme first, you've got a really comfortable, not slippery at all metal grip section with a nice solid stop, and then the beautiful nib that I am a huge fan of because it almost entirely obscures the feed when turned to the side. You have to really kind of go up under it to even look at the feed. It's the only nib that I know of that does that, and I just think it really strikes a nice profile. And then is there anything in there? Yes, there's something in there. Oh my God, there we go. It's a cartridge. The cartridge is in there, and I'm guessing the converter is in the box. Ooh, almost cross-threaded there. Be careful, Drew. All right, so that is just a stunning pen. Both of these pens will have 9 layers of Japanese and Chinese lacquer techniques applied to them, and then the final layer that gives it its color is applied. So beneath that, they're, heavily lacquered, which takes a lot of time to do. And many ST Dupont pens are made in this way. Again, same nib there, but with a very different polish and a very different kind of vibrance to it. This one is a little bit more classic ST Dupont. The matte black is something that they have done before, but definitely this is a little bit more of kind of traditional ST Dupont look. Both of them look exceptionally beautiful, and I think they make a nice pair. There's no 2-pack discount, unfortunately, but you just need to find out what element you identify with and go from there. It's one of those pens that really does need to be felt to truly understand just how nice these things are made. I wish I could do that for you, I really do. But if you do ever get a chance to get one in your hands, definitely feel around, because I'm not one of those people that assigns quality to weight. I really am not. And it's not just the weight that kind of hints at quality. You feel just kind of the fit and finish overall as soon as you get one of these in your hands. I wish I could describe it better than that, but I don't believe I can. I will just say they're really nice. We wouldn't sell them or believe in the price point if they were not nice. They are quite pens, and maybe just talk to somebody if you can find somebody online that's ever owned one. I have yet to hear an owner wish they didn't have one. So that does it. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. That was a lot to cover. Hopefully this wasn't either too long or too rambly, but I'm gonna go take a breath now. I wish you the best, have fun, and ride on.